yeah. Cool. Yeah, so this is part of an academy. So it's a two-day event led by co-CEOs Charlie and Megan, who are here. The topic is all about breakthrough thinking and how do you kind of get the most out of whatever you're trying to do in life. Use your brain and every part of you to be effective at it. And we're keeping Danny in the loop, and Danny put together a bunch of information. So last night we were doing kind of Q&A and trying to extract out of his brain. If you're going to use food to help you peak and have these like mental, like all-in crazy moments, what do you do? And if you're going to use food to help you kind of relax and recover, what do you do? So if you go to the next page, Laura. There you go. So that graph on the right is what we're talking about. So the idea that, when I started working, when I was going to school, we're basically taught how to grind. Like you just kind of, you show up, you just work as hard as you can until you collapse at the end of the day and kind of move on with life, right? And they do that day after day. The more effective way is this oscillating mode where you kind of go all in, push yourself hard. And so those peaks where you're, at the top, that's when you're kind of all in, creative thinking, everything's activated, full engagement, as Jim Lear termed it. But then at the bottom, you're like fully recovering and you're fully kind of relaxing and you're fully letting things synthesize in your brain. And it was cool talking with Danny about this and how much overlap there is with food, right? And so if you go to the next slide, Danny's gonna talk about three things. How do you use food for peak energy? And in particular, building like a pantry. So you have a bunch of ingredients in your house to build up, peak energy moments and amplify that. It's kind of amplifying your sympathetic response, he was saying. It's how do you get yourself into fight mode using food? And then recovery, the same thing. How do you get yourself into relaxation mode using food? And then there's like some deliberate spikes. So let's say you need to kind of force a peak or force a relaxation. You can use food to kind of help you do that too. So the next page, we're going to, you're going to kind of talk a little bit about kind of like how to use food for, to help you and what to avoid. And then you're going to make kind of a good snack and a snack to help you get into fight mode and a snack to help you get into kind of recovery mode.
So thank you everyone again. If you want to go back to the oscillation thing, that was something that I just saw yesterday. I love it because you have two different like situations, like the peak and the recovery, and we're talking always about the percentage between your brain and your gut, like this 80-20, 85-15 that we try to achieve always. And I'm very like impressed with this because it's connected with the way I cook, the way I pick my food. So when you get in those peaks and in this bottom part, is basically how your hormones are like controlling your energy. So every energy in your body comes from food, right? But you got the food energy storage in your body. The control tower for that is your brain. So how you use energy for something, which could be fight or flight, is always a decision that comes from your brain. And it's through hormones. And you tie the hormone side with the food. Like when we talk about serotonin, how you increase your serotonin capability through food. So this is food that is going to help you to increase your serotonin production. So everything here is rich in tryptophan. And tryptophan is going to make impulse or create the serotonin synthetic process in your gut. But your brain is the one who's going to decide when you're going to use it or how you're going to use it. Yes. And if your brain has a decision and has a signal, and you don't have that kind of nutrient in your body, you're fucked. So you're going to go down. It's like the old green, you say. So the old one is, okay, I eat pizza, chocolate, Coca-Cola, coffee. I get into, a lot of study, 6-7 hour study, and then you go down. So you don't have energy. But if you have long-lasting food, like long-lasting energy food like this one, you're going to have a cycle. So your body's going to go into like a long-lasting time of energy. You're going to be more productive. You're going to be like, I always say it's like I don't know if you drive sometimes like a diesel car. when you drive a gas car, you go and you get a reprise super,
Yeah.
better speed super. But if you have a diesel car, you go like, oh. But then at some point you feel like more
Yeah.
power. That's the same with that kind of food. So if you eat it like Coca-Cola, pizza, pasta, whatever you got, you feel like it, but in half an hour you're gonna feel tired. Because the first thing your body takes from as a source of energy is the sugar. But the sugar is the one is, lasts very, very short time. But if you want to have a long lasting energy, you need fat.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you can eat. So everyone talk about fat, and since the 70s, the fat was like a satanized everywhere. Like, okay, fat is bad. We're gonna do light, like all these light things on the food labels is crap. So you need fat, but you need good fat. But it depends what you're gonna do. You can have even like a bad fat. But you cannot base your diet in bad fat. But if you are like a Mike, for instance, gonna train 7 hours a day, he can eat some bad fat because he's gonna burn so many calories that this fat is not gonna be stored in his body. But if I'm working in a desk and I'm eating good fat, bad fat, whatever, I'm not gonna burn it. Like Charlie get like 4,000, 5,000 calories a day, but he's, never stop. Even thinking, you're burning calories, like 20% of your calories you burn when you're thinking, just with the brain function. So you need long lasting energy. And it's the best way to get this is from nuts, from avocados, whatever is rich in omega, sardines, salmon, tuna, mackerel, that kind of stuff give you this kind of energy you need. How this energy is going to be used depends on your brain, right? And that's a part that you guys know better than me, but I know how to store this in the body. So second thing, carbohydrates is a huge thing. When you say I'm out of carb, no, you cannot be out of carb because high fiber like sancho that we get yesterday is a carb. Like sweet potato is a carb, but it's a good carb. So lentils, quinoa is a good carb. It's super rich fiber food that is gonna take long to digest because you need help from the bacteria to break down this. So it's gonna stay in your body longer. So, but if you have like a simple carb, you gotta have a pasta, you gotta have a bread, you gotta have a whatever sugar or super sweet fruit. You're gonna burn it right away. So the point here is how we can build a pantry to get at home, very simple. Like we don't want to complicate things, but we want to have 6 to 10 ingredients in your pantry that you can get in the peak of your oscillating. I don't know how you call it, Charlie, the oscillating thing.
Up and down, I'll say.
Yeah. So that's the key for me.
Cool. Do you want to talk about fight mode first?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So to fight, and that's again, we just mentioned before, energy is driven by hormones, no? And I learned that fight or flight here. I never used it before. So the fight mood, no? It's like, how I can be ready to attack, like how I can react fast, how I can be sharp in my decision, my movements. And I'm talking about, when I say movement, I see Mike, for instance, and it's like, okay, a sport guy, athlete. So when I see, I'm gonna be super sharp. So I see Charlie always trying to find this speed in the reaction and your brain like a super fast. Huh? So this is gonna come from that. If you have,
because you're saying that certain foods give you, like, to be physically prepped for that kind of like fight mode, quick reaction, there are certain micronutrients that help.
Yeah.
And food also has an emotional component that, it can make you feel good, right? And so both those things are combined in eating.
That's I like that because when you go,
You said it, so that's why.
but you,
Not why you like it.
I say, listen to you downstairs. When I see the oscillating things, can you put back the oscillating things, Lauren? This is a word. You see, you feel alive, right? With the cold plunge, with the weights, like you feel like it's like when you get something spicy, you see, you feel alive, right? So if you tell me what is the dish I'm gonna put at the top of this oscillating thing, I'm gonna put a ceviche, for instance. you got this sensation, like it's spicy, it's very citrusy. It's like, that's gastric here. Like when you got something with a lot of vinegar, I got a spike myself. I don't know you guys, but if I take an oyster and I put a lot of lemon, this is the same sensation. And that's the part where I want to mix one thing that we're missing when we talk about nutrition, which is the joy. Right? The nutrition is better when you feel joy. When you're sitting in a table, or even when you're in a bar, and you get something and you smile, I'm pretty sure that is going to give you another component in this process of storing energy, because it's clinical proof that when you have that kind of smile, when you have that kind of joy, when you eat, you are producing serotonin. So that's just the point. It's not just go to the gas station, open your mouth, boom, 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 and keep going. No.
In the class you did on visceral fat, you're saying how, like, there's a type of way your body stores fat, which is very bad. Visceral fat kind of like clumps up over your organs. And so if you look at an animal that has a lot of visceral fat, it just looks sick inside, like really diseased. And it's because those animals are unhappy and they are storing it in this horrible way. Of course, you look at amongst the happiest animals, you said were the in Japan, they're being like, sunlight all day long. And
the lamb, the lamb was jumping around. It's like a moving, and you see the concentration of fat in a lamb is very low, and it's very healthy and very easy.
And they don't have the visceral fat.
So they don't have, or they have just a few. So everyone have a little bit. You need the visceral fat because it's a protection to your organs. It's like a coating. So every organ has to be protected for a little bit of visceral fat. When you have too much visceral fat, it's when you're in trouble. And the visceral fat comes from sugar. No, it doesn't come from fat. The sugar is metabolized as a fat. So as much sugar you eat, you're going to produce more fat in your body. That's a problem. Now we relate the fat with fat. And the fat is, if you burn the calories, the fat is gonna just went down. Of course, you don't want to eat French fries from McDonald's every day. That's not the fat that we're talking about. But we need good fat, and we can afford to have a little bit of, I call cheap fat, not bad fat. Like, I can get some butter, it's high cholesterol, yeah, but I'm gonna move. I'm gonna, keep my body like burning calories. That's fine. Don't get crazy with that.
Yes.
But again, this is something that I feel alive when I get a ceviche. I feel alive when I get a spicy thing, when I get a citrusy, when I get this gastric sensation here. I feel alive when I go down and need to recover, and I got my miso soup, my bone broth. I always feel like recovery to me, it has to be tied with a spoon, something I can eat with a spoon. Like it's a comfort.
Yeah, it's cool.
Comfort food to me is a spoon. I don't like to eat with fork. So when I'm in my house, I eat with a spoon. I feel comfortable.
My interpretation of what you were saying last night was that it's, food is more than just a pile of chemicals. Like the whole environment of eating it and the ritual of eating it and who you're eating it with, like actually changes how your body, processes it.
And again, the spoon, with the spoon, you can get everything. So we have so many like conceptions or preconceptions of how to behave, and we got this and we get the fork, and I don't like to eat with the fork unless I gotta get something. But spoon is round, you get everything, you put in your mouth and you feel good. It ties to, there is in the Parade of Shadow, a book that talks about how the difference between the Asian and the Western people. We eat with metal, and they have sensation different in your mouth, and it's also when some people has metal in implants or whatever, and you have a physical reaction when you have a metal in your mouth. And in the case of Asia, it's always with wood, which is something warm, is different. So that's something that is not the best to eat with this one, but it's better that fork.
Do you eat like with wooden stuff?
Yeah, I like to eat with no wooden, but sometimes wooden, but a lacquer, you know, like the Japanese, Asian, Chinese, they got like
Those white spoons in.
yeah, you got like even ceramic spoons. It's more comfortable. You're gonna feel much better, and that kind of stuff helps. To me, it's clear that helps to enjoy the food and to get this like serotonin working out of that. Yeah.
Also comes from like baby, when you always feed baby with a spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the comment was, as like, as an emotional component to children and babies, because like you feed it with a spoon and.
In Spain, we say the desayuno de cuchara is the best. It's basically when it's winter, you eat like a real food. You don't have a breakfast food. Breakfast, you can have so many variations in your daily diet. Like I can give you in 1 minute, I can give you 100 different dishes for lunch and dinner. But breakfast, I'm going to give you 3 or 4. And you're going to repeat this 3 or 4 every day or every week. You don't change your breakfast every day. Every day, what you got for breakfast? A cereal, Oatberries, oatmeal, a toast. That's it, right? For lunch, you can have 200 different dishes, right? And that's the funny thing. So when it's winter in Europe, most of the people, the breakfast is real food. It's like a lunch meal in the breakfast. So I got for breakfast, like, I don't know, callos. It's tried with chickpeas, like it's a kind of, it's desayuno de cuchara. So it's mozadas,
Like home cooking or.
it's comfortable. It's you need that and it's tied with this we're talking about the joy.
So can you bring up the pantry info for Peak Energy, Laura? We can just go over quick, and then you're going to make like a snack, right? So maybe while we're making this snack, actually, why don't you start with the bad things? It seems kind of obvious, but like you shouldn't eat refined sugar, energy drinks.
Oh yeah.
You're saying you're talking about heavy fried foods as being bad. What you had?
Yeah.
Interesting thoughts.
You can fry food. We always say, okay, fried food is something like it's fat. Huh? You relate fried food with cheap fats, like stir fry, something that you're gonna just dip the food in oil. You're gonna the food's gonna absorb this oil. But the problem is the oil we're using for deep fry is a bad quality oil. It is always trans fat, is hydrogenated fat, it's all non-natural product. But if you have olive oil, if you have a piece of sardine and you just put a little bit of flour and you fry with olive oil, it's just super healthy. You got 2 sources of omega-3. You got the highest source of protein in the nature, which is a sardine. And it's easy to digest. So fried food is not bad. Don't get me wrong.
It's just the chicken nugget variety is not so hard.
That's bad. But it's so many things in chicken nugget that I don't want to waste 2 hours conversation. So yes. Have you read the label in Chick-fil-A for chicken nuggets? Mm-hmm. It's like 200 ingredients. So chicken, don't put 200 ingredients. So, and that's what we're feeding kids.
Yeah. So the good stuff that helps you get into fight mode. You have complex carbs, high fiber veggies, protein, healthy fats, dark chocolate, and green tea or matcha type products.
Yeah, caffeine is good for you. We also got this, caffeine is bad. No, don't drink too much coffee, whatever. No, coffee is good. Caffeine is good. Don't drink 20 coffees a day, but caffeine also helps to recover your liver. So if you have liver problems, you take 1 or 2 cups of coffee and it helps to break down the fat that your liver is producing. So coffee is good, not in excess. And if you have GI condition, of course, coffee is gonna stress your gut and you're gonna be in trouble, every time you get a coffee. But don't get me wrong, caffeine is good, not in excess. But if you have some like GI conditions and you don't want to go to have that kind of problem, you can get green tea. I think green tea is high caffeine as well, but it's not aggressive in your gut. So you have these two options, and you're cleaning your liver using the caffeine.
Yeah. And there's a question from Chris about no protein bars on the list.
Protein bar? No, definitely no. You can do your own protein bars. I can do it. So you guys. Recipe.
What's wrong with protein bars?
Protein bars has too much sugar and corn syrup, whatever you find it. That's poison. But you can get a couple dates, get a spoon of peanut butter, right? Get some nuts, chop the nuts, mix everything together, tie it up, and you get a protein bar. That's it. Super simple.
It's terrible for you because it's like crazy sugar.
High sugar, but it's natural sugar. It's not processed sugar.
Yeah.
So don't get 20 dates.
Yeah.
It's like grapes. Grapes are good for you. So don't get 20 grapes. It's too much sugar.
Someone here is someone here something you said I thought was simple but insightful, that like you can have sugar as long as it's wrapped, as long as nature wrapped it.
Yeah.
So like a grape has a lot of sugar, but it combined with so much fiber that it kind of, your body deals with it okay. So refined sugar, terrible, but if nature provides it wrapped in some other product, that's,
Everything is wrapped by nature is sugar. Problem is that we do so much good that it's not wrapped by nature.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
What we did on that list on the left, we have a pretty, can't quite see it here, but is my camera working? Back over there somewhere, we're pretty stocked pantry of the type of foods that are here in the office, so we can prepare our own snacks. I underline the stuff that we eat typically here, but like hummus, green apple, nuts. Yep. Avocado. So you can come and make like Danny's doing here. He's kind of making. If you're eating this, what's the timing of this? You have this like half an hour before you're trying to peak, or like when you're just feeling a little hungry and.
I can eat this every time during the day, like every half an hour. Like we were talking about, before we were talking about something that I read from Mark Hyman. He got in a study that if you do squats, if you do 10 squats every 45 minutes during 8 hours, you can reduce 25% of your sugar levels, your glucose levels. So that's amazing. I'm doing 20 right now. So that kind of thing, you can have 10 snacks a day. That's no problem. Because it's like a little bit every hour. You're gonna keep your energy, like always on the way.
I think that's the power of creating like a pantry, as Danny was saying. Because then you can mix it up, so you're not always eating the same thing. But this collection of food is like going to help you reach that peak. You also had a cool thing you were saying about dark chocolate, which I would think that's not so great for you, but
I mean, dark chocolate is one of the things I like, because I'm not a sweet person. I'm more on the savory side, but chocolate is the only thing I love. Dark chocolate is the best. Chocolate has to be like clean. So get to read the labels when you get a chocolate, because you don't it's not like buying an avocado, it's a package, right? And the chocolate industry has a lot of like fake chocolate. And it's just a little bit of cocoa. It's a lot of flavor, a lot of emulsifying, a lot of additive, a lot of sugar, corn syrup. And you think you're eating chocolate. You're not eating chocolate. You're eating, I don't know what it's that. It's something. But if you have like that kind of chocolate, it's not that doing an advertisement, but this is a good brand, and you can find it's created here in New York. It's dark chocolate, 70%. 70%.
I see the ingredient list. Yeah, I see ingredient list. Yeah, it's relatively tight ingredient list.
Yeah.
But you're saying dark chocolate is not all the same. If you look at a lot of the packages, some of the big, like global brands, if you actually look what it is, it'll have 70% dark chocolate, but then you look at it and it's loaded of sugar and chemicals, right?
Yeah.
So you just looked at it. It's a
70% chocolate. Cacao is the chocolate. So if you make chocolate, you have 70% cacao but then you put a lot of things and you
Yeah.
build that candy that we think is chocolate, but it's not chocolate. It's a candy
Yeah.
with chocolate, and this chocolate is made out of maybe 70%.
Mhm.
So the good thing will be to have a piece of chocolate, 70% or more cocoa, and you have these nutrients, all
Yeah.
these flavonoids, all these things that you get in the chocolate. But if you have a candy made out of chocolate, like if you get a crunch, everyone knows a crunch, right?
Like
This is
bar. Yeah.
it should be maybe 3% cocoa in a crunch, and you think you're eating chocolate. You're eating just
Sure.
conservatives.
Yeah. So okay, so what do you have in here? This is avocado,
That's something that
radishes.
I will do. It's not a guacamole. It's just something that you can do.
You put some hot sauce in it.
Well, I just get this small radishes, but if you have a regular size radish, it's the same.
Mhm.
And I put a little bit Tabasco, because I like a little bit spicy, and I'm pretty sure that's easy to source. I don't want to, get you guys like going to that Japanese store, in the corner, or I have to go to the Armenian market. No, just get 2, 3 things, and you make a nice, like quick snack. And you can take this, get a cracker. We got nice crackers, and we always get here. That's like a super fibery and with a lot of seeds, and that's also good, And this is this perfect snack for me, Simple. You can put a little bit of, if you want, you can put a little bit salt, just a little bit, and you have a perfect snack. And that's full of energy. That's healthy, full of energy. You can get this, half of this, then you go work in an hour, you have the other half, you go to work out, you have real fat in your body, you got real energy, and it's gonna last for hours. But if I have something sweet, that's gonna make a sandwich with a piece of cheese, that's gonna be in 5 minutes, I'm gonna feel hungry again. And that's, that's the way, we always eat, like the simple things that we, like peanut butter jelly sandwich. Yeah. In 30 minutes, you're hungry, because you got this and then you crash. But with this, you can, and you feel, you don't feel bloated.
It's a combo of basically it's a combo of fiber and good fat.
Yeah. And then you got, when you go down after hours, you need to recover. I recover with something related with food. So that's a bone broth case.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Laura, do you want to bring up the pantry sheet for recovery food?
That's what's not so sweet.
So again, I think the bad stuff that Danny was listing out, it seems sort of obvious, like salty instant foods, for example.
Yeah.
As we were measuring our glucose, using a continuous glucose monitor last month to see what's up. And Danny caught me having a giant spike because I had ramen at like 11 p.m., which is pretty much the worst possible thing you can do. It's salty, it's carby, it's
this is
horrible.
And your body is designed to function in one way. That's a circadian circle.
Yeah.
So when the light goes down, you have a cortisol release that is telling you, it's time to go down, lie down, rest, recover. And when the light comes up, your body reacts. When you open your eyes, you have a release of hormones as well. And this is the energy driven. So if we respect that and you got good source of energy, you're going to be ready for whatever battle you have.
Yeah.
And what's happened if at 1, 2 a.m. you stop, on your way home and you got your ramen. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a shitty ramen because at that time you don't have the good quality food in the street, and your body is in an opposite setup.
Yeah.
So, and you put this ramen with a lot of noodles, you're going to have a spike. You're going to have like a blood pressure problem as well because it's super rich in salt and sodium and MSG. So that's bad.
So I was asking Danny, what is like a filling umami kind of thing that actually helps your body get into this mode? And the cool thing is Danny's big on bone broth, so we have a whole bone broth class, and we have bone broth all the time. And you guys have it after you kind of use the sauna and the whole kind of calm down sequence. But you can up it to a new level by adding, if you just add some straight out miso into the hot bone broth, because miso is fermented.
Yeah, miso is fermented soy with koji, which is Aspergillus oryzae. Is a fungus from the rice, and it's fermented for 5 months. So it's very powerful, the taste, and it's full of bacteria.
Yeah.
So if you have bone broth, which is perfect to recover your stomach and your gut lining, and you add a little bit of miso, you add in protein from soy, you add in bacteria, so it's going to help you to feel more comfortable. It's going to help you to have a better gut and digestive. Yeah.
And you're also saying, like, if you go to like a restaurant and get miso soup, so we have another class where we did cover miso. You're saying how typically it's boiled so much, the living component of it, the fermented part is dead. It kills it. But if you do it like this, the good stuff, the good fermented miso stays alive.
Yeah.
So you're getting like max benefit.
You see something, everything in the nature, 99% of the living things pass after 100 degrees or 212 Fahrenheit, right? That's why we boil. That's a Pasteur theory about, right? So the miso soup, if you keep your miso soup boiling, means you have your miso soup above 212. So what is this? The deal with the miso in the soup if you are killing the bacteria, which is the most important thing that I'm trying to get out of the miso. It's not just for the taste, because for taste, I can get the taste from other stuff. But the miso has this bacteria that help my gut to be super healthy. And it's also rich in protein, and it's rich in sodium, potassium, things that your body needs to recover. And that's why it's good to recover. When you recover in your body, what need the most is salt, is to be electrolytes. Sorry. So a good source of electrolytes is miso soup. Why? Because you have this hydration for water, but you have also the hydration and the recovered electrolytes from miso. You have those salts, electrolytes of salt that you need to get your body again. So when you work out, in the case of those guys in the gym, they're working out and producing lactic acid. Lactic acid in this metabolic process that you break your muscles and then recover. To recover your muscles, you need those electrolytes. You need to reduce this lactic acid and reduce the pain you have when you work out. If you have this, it's much better than half a Gatorade.
Mm-hmm. Better than a Gatorade.
You just add the miso to the hot broth. You have to make the miso soup and add it to the.
What I'm doing, if you see, I'm doing this.
The question was, you need to make a miso soup and then add it to bone broth and.
No, but so what I'm doing is the miso soup is this to me. So miso soup is
This,
you add miso.
Okay.
yeah,
One thing to
let me
me,
explain for the audience. This is bone broth already made, right? And then he's literally just adding a scoop of
Miso, that's it.
miso.
but this is about 80, like 160 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not boiling. So this bacteria here is not surviving that level of heat. That's the whole point here. When you get a miso soup in the restaurant, it's a pot that is boiling. Boom, 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 boom. So you just got the seasoning from the miso. You know, when you talk about the tea and like people that love tea, like Asian people or British people, they get the tea at 85 degrees Celsius. It's an infusion. It's not boiling the tea. And that's why the green tea in Asia is so important, because you get into 85. When you got the tea, you got all these components, the flavor from the tea, but don't forget something. When the tea is done, it's done by hand. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's rolled by hand. And every single green tea is full of bacteria. And I went in Japan, I went to a place to do green tea and make a workshop in a farm. And my tea that I roll myself tastes different than the guy was in front of me rolling. And it was the same leaf, from the same place, the same water, but different bacteria. So
I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest.
I get my tea.
What about so we have our garden out there with like mint, you can't quite see it, but things like that. Is that
Helps you to calm the earth. Yeah, it's very
better?
comfy, yeah. To be honest, I prefer bone broth that minty, yeah. Some people with GI conditions have bad reaction to minty.
Yeah, it's to know your body. And the other thought you had on kind of recovery foods was tryptophan, like what is that? And
Well, we talked a little bit already. Tryptophan is a short fatty acid chain that is present in every single food that has omega-3. And the tryptophan is the precursor to produce serotonin. And the serotonin is produced in your gut. So your gut.
so if you have the tryptophan, that'll like make it easier for your body to recover the serotonin so you can start climbing the oscillation again.
And your gut is the only place beside your brain that has the capability to produce some neurons.
Yeah.
So like 7% of the neurons you have are produced in your gut. The rest in your brain.
7 or 7?
Seven. Yeah. It's not 15. It's not 15 and 15. Yes.
But it must be using it to connect to your brain. Like what is it? So what are they doing?
Does miso base have to be applied something hot in order to digest it? You didn't like.
I mean,
So the question was, does miso paste have to be applied to something hot in order to be able to digest it properly, or can you just eat it?
so miso can be eaten straight, but it's strong, right? Don't forget this is being fermented for 6-7 months, so the concentration of flavor is super high. But I do a lot of like a salad dressings with miso. I do like even like sauces for steak. I put miso, chocolate, and red wine together. I mix it and I sauce my steak with that. So there is many things that you can do out of miso. Miso is one of the building blocks in the Japanese cuisine. So you have 3 or 4 building blocks. Like you have miso, you have dashi, which is broth, you have rice, you can bunch of stuff and you mix it together. And you play with that.
Yeah, yes. Cool. Maybe while we're mixing this for everyone, can you bring up the last image, Laura, of deliberate spikes? So you can correct me if I say this wrong, Danny, but the idea was like you can eat certain things that if you really want to force like a peak or a valley, you can eat certain things to help. That's not it's not necessarily bad, it's not necessarily good, but as long as you're intentional and timed about it. And so you had like a couple ways to peak and a couple ways to recover.
Sorry, say again.
You had a couple ways to peak and a couple ways to recover that are a little bit more sort of intense.
Yeah. I mean,
Do you want to help Laura or Dana with pass that around?
so you can, yeah.
I in the audience have a question. Is there a better type of miso, black, white?
The question was, is there a better type of miso, black, white?
That's a good question. The type of miso comes from the type of grain. So if you have a white soy grain, you have something that is called shiro miso. Shiro miso is the one we're using today, right? That's actually, it's not Japanese, that's made in America, but it's out of a clear white legume. You know, could be also chickpea, could be kidney beans, whatever legume you can use to do miso, right? But the original miso is made out of soy. Shiro miso is light in flavor. Then you have aka miso, which is aka means dark or black. It's very strong flavor. So I don't use that to that kind of preparation of soup. What I do is like if I'm gonna do a sauce with wine and chocolate and that, I use the aka miso, which is stronger flavor, yeah. But there is different kind of miso. Chickpea miso is something that is became trend here in New York. Because some people want to eat soy.
Say it again.
So chickpeas.
Oh, chickpea miso.
Yeah, chickpea miso.
So miso refers to like the technique of fermenting it.
Process it technique. So you made a paste, you add koji, which is the aspergillus oryza.
Yeah.
You add salt, mix it up, you put it in kind of like a barrel.
Yeah.
With the weight. Try to avoid oxygen and keep it for 6-7 months, to ferment. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't know that. Okay, quick spikes, like coffee, espresso.
That's good. I think we already mentioned that. So espresso is give you a spike, something that is gonna give you like a kind of shot. The espresso has less caffeine than a dripping coffee. So when you do an espresso, and you go to Italy, they drink 20 espressos a day, and they like chill. Huh? You get one Starbucks coffee, and you get like fucking crazy. It's espresso or ristretto is basically less than 5 seconds, right? The temperature is 85 degrees or 165 in Fahrenheit.
That makes sense because Italian coffee is like mellower than like American for sure.
Wash the grain. You don't wash the coffee. When you drip coffee, this coffee is basically cooking for a long time, right? And this coffee extracts every single molecule of caffeine. In the case of espresso, it's just a little bit caffeine. So if you don't want to have too much caffeine, get espresso and don't get a drip coffee.
Yeah. That's opposite. I would think of espresso as being like that jolts.
Yeah, because you feel like it's concentrated, but it's not. It's 5 seconds. When you do espresso, that's it. And
Dark chocolate you talked about.
yeah, so try to get a good source of chocolate. Don't get Lindt or what is the other one?
Nestle's.
Can I ask you a question on the, you have the short-term spike, the peak, the fruit with like berries or whatever fruit paired with a fiber, like what, like nuts? Because I try to do we do our apples and pecans, like that's okay, good. But that's the thing with different.
I mean,
That's like,
you can do with berries.
Yeah.
I like berries better than apple. That's
Okay.
a
you would still do nuts with it, that's all. Okay.
yes, that's a perfect combination. A lot of vitamin C, a lot of like omega-3s for here. You have proteins.
Is granola like fiber too?
Yeah. But you can do
sugary though.
You can do your granola. The point is, what you buy in the supermarket is loaded with sugar.
Yeah.
What's granola? I give you a recipe. Just get combination of different nuts. If you want to put some sugar, maple. So I'm talking about in a bowl. You put oats, raw oats. You put a bunch of different nuts. You can put pieces of chocolate, dark chocolate, and you put maple syrup. And then you add one for a bowl, like 2 pounds, 1 egg white, mix it well, just spread it in a sheet pan and bake it low temperature, like 250 for 25 minutes. Then take it out, let it, cool down and break it. That's granola. That's the best granola you can do. You have proteins, you have nuts, you have omega, you have Ivoflavone. You got everything in that, and you don't have corn syrup, sugar, and crab principle.
So a question in the chat coming back to like the idea of a community being like a piece of this too, which is like Chris is asking, like what are some suggestions for establishing the ritual of having like lunch together? Like it's kind of usually very underutilized, especially in a work environment.
Rituals.
Later. Think this out, Joe.
Try
Eating
Yeah.
lunch together, Danny, like what?
eating sir? Say it again.
Eating-
so sorry.
Eating lunch together?
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I always advocating for here and everywhere. And I prefer family or a group of friends sitting, having fun and eating in McDonald's than having that granola or avocado snacks in front of the computer with the phone here by yourself. So the exchange of, just chatting, having fun, smiling, exchange of bacteria with just sitting next to another person. There is an exchange of bacteria. That's going to make you stronger. It's a sense of community, it's a sense of a ritual and habits that you create that you can repeat, maybe not every day, but twice, 3 times a week. that's enough to build something. Don't forget, if you wanna, there's so many theories. The French say, if you wanna live longer, drink wine every day. That's true. But if you go to the blue zones, right? And we say we try to create the next zones of a blue zone. There is components, 4 components. One thing is movement, right? Sport, exercise, whatever. The second thing is community. So the sense of help each other, sit down together at tables. Then you have another component, which is faith, no? Believe in something. I don't care if it's a religion or if it's just like a mission, a ritual, a habit that for you is your goal. That's the other thing. And as much as you can reduce the stress. These 4 components builds a real blue zone. And I'm pretty sure if you handle that 4 things and eat well, you're gonna live longer. Right? So that's kind of answer for the table thing, like having lunch together.
Were there any questions from people here in New York?
Just take the subway every day while all the bacteria.
Well, Ezra lived longer by getting a bacterial dose in the New York City subway.
That's when I was a kid, I remember the grandma saying like when you go to the park and there is a bunch of moms with these tissues and cleaning his hands and oh, my baby, let them eat the dirt. That's the way you build your strong microbiome, which is better than it's always better than you get everything in the subway. If you pass a trial, you pass everything,
Chef, is that, miso bone broth soup a good way, like end of day before bed type thing to that responded?
That's perfect.
Yeah, the question was, is the miso bone broth combo good like before bed to kind of?
Don't do it like instead of coffee in the morning because you're gonna go back to bed. So
Yeah.
so just do it before you go to sleep.
That's a good end of day, Rich.
Or not just end of the day, it can be end of the cycle. Maybe you have 2 cycles a day. Like you guys, wake up, work, then train for a couple hours, and then sit down, have a meal. You can finish your meal with a miso soup. In the Asian ritual, the miso soup is the last component of the kaiseki. So in Japan, when you have a kaiseki meal, you have 6 or 7 courses. And it's the opposite that we do. We start as a hot appetizer with a soup. In Japan, you end the soup with a miso soup, even after dessert. So it kind of sense.
Small cup like this, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's not a bowl. It's in a small cup, right? Yeah.
So I have a pickleball tournament coming up on Saturday.
You have that?
I have a pickleball tournament.
So Cyril has a pickleball tournament coming up on Saturday.
Tournament that I signed up for. I want to be in peak performance. What should and how long before the tournament?
She wants to be in peak performance.
You want it?
How long before should she be feeling her body?
So it's next week.
Saturday.
That's 2 days. 2 days.
But you're late.
All the time.
Well, so you're good. Why you asking that? I'm saying you're good.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I suggest you? The day before, eat a lot of good fat. A couple of avocados, couple eggs, get a lot of nuts. When you wake up in the morning, get an apple, get a bunch of nuts. If you get nut with chocolate, the best thing, get hydrated. A lot of water.
Hydrated.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't want to tell you like the old school. Yeah, the night before 2
Carbo.
bowls of pasta. I used to run marathons and triathlon, and I remember like in the 90s, it was like every marathon, every triathlon was the pasta dinner the night before, and everyone ate pasta. Then when you go for a run after an hour, you're like. But if you eat well and you have this kind of fat, that's not.
I mean, it's the food on your green.
In the morning, you need fat. I mean, if you, I play tennis. I never play pickleball. How long is a match?
Yeah. It's the list on the fight list, the green list.
It's
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but it's round robin, right? So it's 15 minutes for like whatever, 3 or 4 hours. So each match is about 15 minutes,
15 minutes. And how many matches you gonna have that day?
depending on how well we.
Oh, you can, right, okay.
Just have one.
How many matches?
Five.
How many matches you need to get the cup?
But it's gonna probably be, because there's 16 people, eight teams, and so you playing with against each other.
Around.
And then if you you beat the other team, you move up, right? So
And you have some rest time before,
I don't know, I think so, I don't know.
bring some nuts and keep.
Yeah, Bring some nuts, berries, green apples.
Yeah.
Just bring a selection from each one of those
So
categories.
this you can carry everywhere, you know, it's like things that you can put, if you do sports and it's outside. What can you have in your pocket? That's the most important thing, because when I run, I got something in my pocket, I'm running that, just pop a little bit, eat and keep running. It's like sometimes people get shots and whatever thing, like it's like endurance things, you know. I just get fruits and nuts.
Yeah.
What's your take on fasting?
So Danny's take on fasting.
Yes. I think there's it's a good foundation in this theory about fasting, because the nature of a human being as an animal is a fasting and then fight and then grab some, hunt and eat, and then fast until you have. Then maybe we change.
You're talking about like intermittent fasting,
Yeah.
kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the foundation. The
Yeah.
intermittent fasting comes from that theory. Like we were hunting gatherers, so we don't have food.
Like people on the savannah, if we go back to our biology is about, you wouldn't eat for long stretches.
You don't have, at that time, you don't have food stock. Food stock comes like maybe in 25 centuries ago, people start, like storing food 3,000 years ago. But before that it was just gathering and hunters, right? So if we don't have that kind of evolution in our body that change how we function, I think it's good. I mean, I did it just to try it, I get so much, I get hungry. I couldn't.
It was just like 2 months ago you tried it, right?
Of the energy conversation, like.
Yeah, I guess I'd be skilled. Yeah, I guess my version of that question is like I'm intrigued by that notion, but of the fasting, but it does. I know I get starving, so I feel like I'd have no energy if I did that.
But does that is there?
I think that
starts.
there is a gap when you start this thing of fasting. Like maybe after a month, you will be in a position you can say that works for me or no. But in 2, 3 days, 4 days, you don't have, because you're gonna feel like starving. It's true that when you have at this point, your body is already adapted to the fasting thing. And I heard and I read that it's good, and your body knows how to get energy for every single source. The problem is when you don't have like fat storage, your body's gonna go against your muscles and your organs. So that's the fasting thing. I'm not sure if it's good. But what I read, if you control that, it's good. No more than 12, 16 hours, like the cycle should be like it depends of what kind of people, your muscle mass or your complexion in general, give you what is their fasting, like some people should get the fasting 1 meal at 5 p.m. and then don't eat anything for 16 hours. I don't know. It's like in Chinese medicine, they say what is good for me could be not so good for you. It can be aggressive for him. So
I fast for 2 hours a day. Yeah.
that's a good sign.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions?
What are those in the bowl?
This one?
Oh,
Just Sancho.
that's a very interesting question.
The one you get last night.
Yeah, how'd you make those? Those are absolutely delicious.
This is.
Explain what they are.
So
Like an
Well,
artichoke?
this is a tuber. It's called Jerusalem artichoke. It's because the taste and the shape or whatever. But it's tuber is family of potato, right? It's come from the Middle East and Mediterranean side. They're super high fiber. They're rich in a lot of micronutrients. So it's very hard to find because it's very seasonal. You get this like 3 months a year only.
You said September, November, December kind of thing,
So
Q4.
basically, fall for us is the time where you can harvest that. They're super tasty. The skin comes really crispy. So what I did last night is toast in like olive oil or melted butter, salt, a little bit of rosemary, put it in a sheet pan and bake it for maybe hour and a half, very low temperature. So you put your oven in like 250 and just leave it there for 1 hour, like hour and a half. And then it becomes like super crispy outside and inside it's like butter. It's like, it's so
It was absolutely delicious.
Yeah, and it tasted like a potato basically, but it's like,
a little bit more sweet.
but it doesn't have like the glycemic index.
No. But we're talking about glycemic index. He asked me about the glycemic index. So below 50, 55 is considered like low glycemic index. So in the chart, if you get this sweet potato that everyone thinks like, oh, this is, you boil this sweet potato, you get into 40 glycemic index, which is super good. It's super low and it's super healthy. You get a lot of nutrients here, like magnesium. One of the best sources of magnesium is that. And it's cheap. The sweet potato is cheap. But I mentioned that people say that eat healthy is expensive. Yeah, if you go to a healthy store and you buy all these products like comes in a healthy store, it's expensive. This is $1 a pound. So
How much are Jerusalem artichokes? Okay.
it's expensive. It's like a $10 a pound. But
So 3 months out of the year.
in Spanish, we say una vez al año, no hace daño. It's like once a year doesn't hurt. Yeah, it's cool. It's like truffles. You can get truffles every day, but when it's truffle season.
Nice.
It's great.
Any final questions? Cool. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Laura. See everyone next month.